This is Dr. Mariah White, host of Your Life Matters. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Madeline, host of Crowned and Dangerous here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come back to check out my show, Crowned and Dangerous, where Jessica and I talk about our time in the pageant world. A new show comes out bi-weekly on Thursdays. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Crowned and Dangerous. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Welcome to the C. Jane Sell podcast,
a relatable sales podcast for your weekly dose of sanity. I'm your host, Chelsea Dupre.
and I'm your host, Lee Nevis. Yo,
What's up?
welcome.
Back.
Welcome back. It's episode 15.
Episode 15. This was crazy.
I know. Do you remember when we were on episode 1?
Yeah.
Me too.
I mean, we're only like 15, so like,
It was
it's not
yeah.
that far, but I was like, oh my gosh.
It was like 2 months ago.
We're like, yeah, that was 3 months ago, so.
I'm still the same age.
Literally.
I'm literally the same age as I was.
Yeah.
But you know, just a little bit older, a little bit wiser,
Yeah.
a little bit more, you know,
Something.
hip to the groove. No, I'm clearly not. No, I'm getting pretty old. I'm getting way less hip the older I get.
It's fair.
And I'm starting to realize that more and more when like I see people who like were born in like 1996 who are freaking 20 years old. Yeah. And I know that's literally basic math and simple math. But like people born in 1999 can like drive a car, and they have been driving cars for like 4 years. Does that not blow your mind?
Scares me.
Life just moves really fast.
It really does.
It really moves by.
It really does.
Yeah. How's your week been?
Week has been good. Just keeping on.
Yeah.
You know, life
Cool.
gets stressful. Life gets busy, complicated.
Mm-hmm.
There's these things called feelings.
Yeah.
Just like all of that.
Oh,
you know?
for sure.
Gotta wake up, do it again, find the good in the day.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I completely understand. I feel like I keep saying no to a lot of things.
Okay, well, I've been saying yes to everything.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I don't know what it is, but like I've been saying no a lot lately, but yet somehow those no's get turned into yeses. And it's starting to drive me insane. It's like I keep saying like, no, I'm not interested, or like, no, I do not want that. And then these people later the next day I'll be like, hey, do you want to do this? Or like, do you want to do this thing that I literally asked you yesterday and you said no, but I'm going to ask you again? It is driving me insane. And it's not like in a salesy way. These people aren't selling me. So I need to
help.
It's literally like people asking me like, do you want to do this? And I say, no, I do not want to do that. And then they will come back to me and be like, hey, that thing that you said you didn't want to do, how about you do that thing? And I don't know what it is. Is it like, summer coming up, like changing people's like mindsets of like, oh, Lee said no, she actually means yes. Like it actually is making me go, I'm about to flip my lid, Chelsea.
Could be. See, I've been the opposite. I've been saying yes and trying to welcome lots of changes and just, you know, maybe this will put me in a good situation.
Yeah.
And, yeah. You know.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really important to say yes to a lot of things. And I think...
Well, it's been really good lately.
Yeah.
It's been really good. It's like I've met some really cool people. I've been able to be a part of some really cool things. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's why I've been saying yes a little bit more than normal.
Definitely. Well, wasn't it...
Yes.
Wasn't it Erica Jane from The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills?
Oh, digging deep.
Who my gosh, I think it was the season finale of last year. This is how lame I am. I'm obsessed with Real Housewives.
I love Real Housewives. I actually messaged Vicky once to support something she said, and she was like, "Thanks, babe."
I love you that you just shared that story.
That's embarrassing.
That's not embarrassing. That's incredible. I do that dumb stuff too, where I'm like,
she's gonna want to be my friend. I just know it.
yeah.
And then we'll be best friends. They're like, "You want to come on your podcast?" I'm like, duh.
This is Chelsea's ulterior motives. I just want you on my podcast. Thank you. Bye. I think it was the series finale. The series finale. Oh my god, I'm thinking about Game of Thrones. The season finale of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. It was. She said something like, "This year I really just want to say yes to everything. I'm saying yes, I want to do that. Yes, I want to do that because one day they'll stop asking."
Oh,
and it's like,
it's true.
Oh, girl,
it
yes.
is true.
While you're young and vibrant and can do stuff, say yes.
Just do it. Well, that's the thing. Okay, I have this situation. It's not like one situation. It's all situations. Where I'm like, yes, let's plan this. This is going to be so much fun. And then, like, the week before, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's going on. Cool. It's in my calendar. And then a couple days before, I'm like, I don't really have time to do that. Which actually is, I really don't want to do that. And then I'm like, oh, my gosh, how am I going to get out of doing this? And then I think of all these crappy ways to get out of doing it. And I spend, I'm like, oh, I just don't want to do this. I just want to stay home. And then I end up just going because I don't want to be a flake. And then I have so much fun.
I know. That always happens. The situations that I always dread the most, I usually have the most fun at.
I know.
And that sucks.
And a lot of times I don't go do things because I genuinely enjoy chilling at my house with Big A and the pups.
Yeah.
I love it.
Of course.
I freaking love it.
I love staying at home with my kittens.
It's it's just great.
It's absolutely the best.
But we made a promise to each other this summer that we are going to just do all of the things.
I love that you have to be more active and more like involved, because I always say you're never going to regret an experience, but you might regret not doing an experience.
FOMO.
You know?
Yeah.
So even if that experience is hard, my lip is bleeding. The weather change here has not been kind to me.
Nor I.
We're in the blackberry winter. Do you know what the blackberry winter is?
No, I've never heard. I'm new here.
So, like, this is a southern thing. So, if it's April and it's warm, and then randomly you have like a couple days of like super cold, it's called the dogwood winter because dogwoods bloom in April.
Okay.
In May, it's called a blackberry winter because blackberries bloom in May.
Oh.
So it just got super cold for the past couple days in May, so it's blackberry winter.
Oh.
But it's not been kind to my skin.
No.
And my lips are so frickin' chapped.
Oh, girl, I have a crack right down the middle. It takes me back to 3rd grade.
Oh, it's awful.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, we were talking about experiences and not regretting them.
Yeah. Like putting on chapstick.
Like putting on chapstick. Never regret that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just have to say yes to stuff. But here's the thing, like, I'm down to say yes to things, but if I say no to something, just, like, respect that I said no.
Yeah.
Please.
For real.
For the love
and if I
of
say
God.
yes, just, like, keep in mind that I'm still only a human.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that.
So what's going on with you in the business world? How's work going?
The business world. Work. We talked about this last pod. Crunch mode.
Mm-hmm.
Going into it hard.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that happens a lot is you just looking for all the low-hanging fruit. It's just pure chaos.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that one game that has the hippo heads, and you have to pop it.
Hungry hippos.
I'm freaking hungry hippo in hard right now. Trying to get everything I possibly can as fast as I possibly can, and get it turned around as fast as I possibly can.
Yeah.
So it's a lot, but I'm in hungry hippo winter. It's real.
Nice. I feel like that is probably the most stressful time.
It really is, because you're like, oh, I have next quarter. Which the past couple of years I've never been like, oh, there's always tomorrow. I'm like, no, there's not. It's today.
No, it's, yeah.
But, you know, I've been trying to figure out this thing that doesn't exist called balance. And so I've had, you know, it's been, I wouldn't say distracting, but there's times when if you're not really killing it, by killing, I mean exceeding what you should do.
Right.
I beat myself up over that. So if I don't have over a certain average, that's, you know, 110% to quota is 100% to average. If I'm not over that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I failed, which isn't fair. I shouldn't do that. But, you know, it's like personal work.
Right.
So just like going through that and trying to figure out, okay, well, I want to do this and I want to spend time with Adam, or I want to try new things, and I just trying to figure it all out because, you know, you get burnt out.
Yeah.
So I'm going into, okay, I need to go back to like today's today, tomorrow's tomorrow, worry about today, today, and just get through it. You just got to get through it.
Yes.
Because I don't know about you, but if I have a to-do list and I put it off, not only putting it off, it's like instant gratification, but it also then is like, oh gosh, but I got to do that. And then if you don't finish it that day, you feel kind of crappy. And then you still have to do it tomorrow. And then before you know it, it's been a week and you haven't finished what you're supposed to do. And then it's due tomorrow, but you know the turnaround time isn't 24 hours.
Oh, yes.
So that's what I've been trying to keep in mind. That just get it done. The faster you can get it done, A, you're going to feel so much better by the end of the day. B, you're going to be so much happier. And C, you're going to be less stressed.
Completely.
So.
Yeah. And I think that this is what I struggle with too, is I'm really bad at putting stuff off. And I need to just remember that every time I do something that I don't want to do, it's just, I need to remember the feeling that I feel afterwards.
So nice.
After you finish it. You literally feel like the weight of the world is just like off your chest. And you're just like, oh, I finished it and I feel amazing. And like, literally.
You can take on the world.
Like, you can take on the world. And it's sometimes the only way out is through.
The only way. I love that. I don't know where I heard that. I do not know where I heard that. I'm not stealing this quote. I just don't know.
We're giving credit to somebody.
Somebody did it.
It's definitely not ours. We're not owning it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the only way out is through, and I think that is such an amazing way to look at it. Is just sometimes there isn't some magical thing that you can do, or oil you can put under your tongue, or which I love, but
right, for sure.
I mean, it's life, okay? That stuff definitely helps, but sometimes you just gotta do it.
Oh my gosh.
Like, you just gotta do it.
You have to go for it, and you have to go through it, and sometimes it's painful and it's not pretty, and you're gonna get your feet really dirty, and your hands are gonna be disgusting, and your brain's gonna want to quit,
and your lashes are gonna fall out
100%, and your skin's gonna be gross, and your lips are gonna crack, but
your wave is gonna fall out.
Yeah, but at the end of it, it's like this bright light in this tunnel that you get to experience, and you wouldn't have experienced it otherwise.
I mean, it can be something as simple as like doing the dishes, to cleaning up, mowing your backyard, to, you know, if you're going through a rocky part in your relationship, whether that's a romantic relationship or a friend relationship or a family relationship, just going through it
Completely.
You just gotta dig deep.
Oh, definitely.
Or maybe you're going through like a spiritual, like trying to figure out where you stand spiritually. You just have to go back to the roots or foundation that you have and build yourself up out of that.
I think ignoring something is probably the worst thing that you can do for any situation. Not just, you know, a business situation, but just a personal situation. Like, it is the worst thing you can do for your mental health. And for me, like, a very personal experience that I had is when I moved to Los Angeles, like back in 2012, I think. God, it was that long ago. 2012. My dad was like not happy about it because I didn't talk to him that much about it. Like, I just was like, after I graduate college, I'm gonna move to LA. Okay, bye. And like, that was really like, I didn't really like sit down and have a conversation with him, and rightfully so. He was like upset about it. Mm-hmm. And instead of like talking about it, we just kind of ignored it, and then we really lost touch for a while. I mean, I think it was probably like a solid year that we just didn't really talk to each other, and were not really playing phone tag, but just like ignoring the other, because I was mad at him because he was mad at me, but like he was mad at me because I wasn't talking to him, but I was like, why aren't you supporting me? Like, it was just like completely misunderstood, and it was just, it was so dumb because we were both ignoring it. And then finally, I don't remember who called the other, but finally one day, one of us called, and we had a huge blowout fight for like an hour and a half. Dang. Of just like talking about everything, talking about our feelings, why we were upset with the other person, like, because it was he was like, he had every right to be mad at me. Like, I was very shitty and did not, like, I did not deal with the situation very well, and he had every right to be mad at me. But I was also mad at him because you can't just like not talk to me when you're a parent, you know? So I was really mad about that, and he was like, okay, you are completely right. I completely understand that. And like, we talked about it, and now 7 years later, we literally have like the best relationship. Yeah. Like, and seriously, like, from that day forward, there hasn't been a week that's gone by that I haven't talked to my dad. And I think that it was just so important for us to go through it. Like, I think we were probably both dreading that conversation. We were both absolutely like dreading having that phone call, because it's hard. It was not easy. Like, I hated that conversation. Like, thinking back about that phone call, like, makes me so uncomfortable and it was awful, but we had to have it. And now, like, there's so much good that's come of it. And like, I feel like I have a great relationship with him, and we can talk about literally anything on the planet. And so sometimes you just have to like have that crap. You just have to talk about that crap.
You just have to talk about it.
Just freaking go through it. And that's like, you can't ignore it. Because if we both would have ignored it, like, you know, where would we be today? Like, would we even be talking? Would we, you know, it's like, I think that you just have to go through it.
Girl. I know, like, a situation for me that I had to just not worry. I mean, I had to worry because it's your life. But it was kind of a little bit lonely and just kind of sad, I guess, is when you go to college, you have all of these big plans and you think you're good. You literally have the world at your fingertips, and you feel like you can move mountains, and you're about to just take on the world. Take it by storm. And I got out, and I'm like, crap. I don't have a job. I don't have a paper to write. I don't have a class to study for. You know, and I had left Wyoming and Utah and moved to California, and not even a place where I had friends. It was like Northern California, like San Francisco area, San Jose, and I didn't know what I was doing. I was trying to find a job. I was trying to take anything I possibly could because I just didn't know where I fit. And so, you know, I just followed the steps, and I got through it. And you know, I had switched a couple of different jobs because this wasn't right, and I didn't want to be in retail forever, and that's all that I had known. And so I put a little faith in myself, and you know, I talked to, he was my boyfriend at the time, but Adam, and put a plan together. There was times I cried and I didn't know what my purpose was. I felt so beside myself. I'm like, what do I even do? I sell protein powder in the mall. Like, yeah. And then I was selling protein powder to teaching guitar lessons, which I loved, and then to work in Orange Theory and building a lot of amazing relationships. And still at that point, I'm like, what am I doing with my life? You know, that's a lonely kind of, what do you do? What's my purpose? Like, why do the things? But I think what really got me through it was just taking each day, one day at a time, and, you know, focusing on what I had and who I had, more so who I had. And they helped me find like things that I'm really good at. Good at sales. So I went more sales. And here I am today, you know, I just pushing through. Sometimes your life is not going to always be, you know what your next step is. A lot of times you probably don't. And I, for so long, knew exactly, this is what I'm going to do, this is where I'm going to go, this is what I'm going to study, this is the class I'm going to take, this is how many credits I'm going to take, this is who I'm going to surround myself by, this is what I'm going to do. And then it was just like, mom and dad, they're in Wyoming. Pop and grandma, they're in Wyoming. All my friends in Utah. Boyfriend that I was in long distance relationship with. We didn't even live together. I had a roommate in a 15-minute drive, so that was not bad. But in California, you know, 15 minutes away, if it's traffic, is like 45.
Right.
So, just all of that. It was just, I really felt like I was on my own island. And it could get kind of sad sometimes. And so, just had to get through it.
Definitely. Well, and I think when you go through stuff like that, you learn so much about yourself.
Oh my God.
And you learn about what you want, and you learn about who you are without listening to other people.
Yeah, you have no one to listen to.
Correct. Like, you have to do like what's right for you, and you will never find out like what your purpose is or like what you're meant to do if you don't like listen to you and go through and like experience stuff that you like might not want to experience. Like, you know, you have to kind of like take things, and it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, like saying yes to stuff and being open to things. Like, sometimes you have to say yes to learn that you don't like something. You know, like you would never have found out that you didn't enjoy this if you didn't do it.
Right.
You know, so I think,
or finding your value.
Oh, completely.
Like, I, for the longest time, was like, well, I guess I'll just do, and there is nothing wrong with working retail. Okay,
of course not.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yo, you can make good money working retail.
You really can. You really can. Yeah. But I, for the longest time, thought, you know, I'm gonna have to do. That's what I'm gonna have to do. It's like, no one's gonna hire me. Like, what? Stupid. Get down on yourself. Feel like you can't do anything. And then, luckily, I had somebody who was really great. That was, no, you have value. You can do this. You work hard. You're competent. You study. You learn. You're an asset. You know. So it took time to figure that out. I mean, I think that's something that takes a lifetime to really hone in on.
Oh, yeah.
You're not just gonna wake up one day and be like, figured it out, ding-a-ling-ding.
Oh my gosh, I don't think we ever figure anything out, truly. You know? We just like slowly make subtle realizations, and we take those realizations and we make them work for us. Oh gosh, if you have it all figured out, will you
call me?
I'll give you a bunch of money to tell me how to figure it out.
I think another good thing to talk about when you just have to go through it is relationships. And you can really apply this to any relationship. I know, like for marriage example, marriage isn't, I don't necessarily think it's hard, but it can have its challenges. Okay? Completely. So no marriage is perfect. And it's because you're two people and you are on your own, you have your own life, right? Yeah. So this part, say your partner is going through all of these things and you're going through all these things, and you grow from all of these experiences that you individually are experiencing. And a lot of times that's where people start to drift apart, and then you start fighting, and then you're like, oh, you compare your relationship to everything else. If you can just go through that and go back to the basics and just talk to each other. Yes. If you can get through that, that's how you grow together, and that's how you become so much more
completely
united and go back to the reason why you fell in love.
Completely. And I think a lot of times what we kind of steer away from is accepting that other people aren't perfect, and accept that other people can also be going through things.
Can I tell you like the best thing that just dawned on me a few weeks ago?
Of course.
So, someone is on Almost 30 podcast, private board or secret group or whatever.
Oh yeah.
We love that.
We love
somebody had I know somebody was saying something about a relationship, like, I'm getting married, I need advice, and this girl put, lower your expectations. And at first I was like, but it's lowering your expectations doesn't mean lowering your standards.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was thinking about it. If you had to kiss the ground your partner walked on all day, every day, like you're expecting them to do for you, would you not get tired?
Mm-hmm.
You have to, like, they're a human. They're going through things.
Oh, you both are going to have off days.
Yeah, and you're not freaking Cinderella in a Disney movie.
Yeah.
Bro, like, chill.
You aren't so great either, princess.
Exactly.
I know.
The moment that you wake up and your breath smells like roses and you
are nice all the time
all
and in
the
a great
time.
mood all the time. Yeah, you
then
let me know.
You can talk, but
Right.
until then, I mean, I think it's just does you such a disservice to expect only your partner to be freaking crapping rainbows all the time.
Yep.
It's not fair.
Oh, for sure.
And if they expected that of you, you would be upset. You'd be like, I have this, and this going on.
Yeah.
So I think lowering your expectations to be like, oh, you're a human, and there's a lot of amazing things that I really love about you.
Completely. And, like, you have to be understanding that people are going, like, through... people are just going through stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard.
But the thing is if you can just get through it. There's a song, oh my gosh, I can't even remember what it's the name of it, but it's like, if you're going through hell, just keep going.
Oh my gosh.
You know what song I'm talking about?
Oh, girl, of course I do.
I love that song. It's just keep going. I did door-to-door sales one summer. This is embarrassing. I did door-to-door sales one summer, and it got lonely. You know, you're just knocking on doors, and that song came on, and it was just like, just keep going, you can do it, you can get through it. So I think that's one of the biggest and best advice I can give people, especially like if you're just getting out of college and you're trying to figure out your life, or if you're just going through something hard, just keep going.
Oh my gosh. And it's so much easier, like, said than done. It's way easier said than done.
But you have to realize you're just going to keep doing it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? Tomorrow's going to come. The sun is going to rise.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can just push through it, because you're going to. Like losing someone. Oh my gosh. That is so hard and it's so sad. And only time can heal those wounds. But the only way out of something is through it, really.
You have, again, it's like you have to deal with that, and you're going to have tragic things happen in your life. You're not going to just be born and then die one day and nothing bad's going to happen to you. Like, you have to be able to talk about this stuff, because if you can't talk about the trauma that you've experienced, or you can't talk about, you know, the tragic things that have happened to you, in the back of your mind, it's going to be there always. And having to relive that and having to think about that all the time is so unhealthy. Like, you have to, like, get your feelings out and make discoveries about yourself and realize, like, okay, it's okay for me to let go of this experience, because I've you know, dealt with it. I've dealt with the feelings. I've talked about it. I've got it out of my system. It's like a cleansing. It's like cleansing, you know?
It really is.
It is.
But just knowing, like, you can get through anything. Tomorrow's going to come and go.
Mm-hmm.
You can get through it. And the best way to get through it is just tackle the things that you've got to get done.
Yep.
And that, I mean, there's nothing monumental about that.
Mm-hmm.
If you got to do the dishes, just do the dishes. You will feel so much better if you just get up and do the dishes.
Yep.
Or if you just need to go on a walk outside, go on a walk outside.
Yes.
Or if you need to talk to people, send 10 texts to your friends. And just like, hey, what's up? They'll text you back.
One of them.
Well, at least one.
At least one will. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, and another thing that I'm really bad about realizing is that you don't have to be in the best mood ever to complete all these things. Sometimes if you wake up and you're putting in like 10% effort, you are phoning it in, but you're going through the motions and you're doing stuff, that's fine. You're never going to be in the perfect mood or the perfect situation or have the perfect amount of motivation to do everything all the time.
Yep.
But it's about utilizing, like, when you are really motivated, tackle some stuff. Or, like, when you kind of feel like crap, maybe do, like, one or two things, like, that are maybe less important, but, you know.
Exactly. Well, one of the things that, if we want to get back into, like, the sales side of it, is we have what's called, like, the CNA or whatever, and you're going to go into meetings, and I can probably count the amount of times I've had a perfect CNA, and we have like a set of questions we ask, and we walk our customer through this, we build the pain, we find the pain, we figure out problem solving. A lot of times you're not going to be able to ask all of those questions. They're not going to answer it the perfect scenario type of a way. But if you have like a foundation to fall back on, like if you're lost and they're like, okay, this, that wasn't wrong, but I have this CNA that I've studied and I've memorized, and I can fall back on these questions, I can get through the process. You know? It's, I mean, there's just going to be times that you're in a meeting and it's not going the way that you're wanting. You're like, why isn't this working out the way I want? And if you can just get to, because maybe the next question is the right question. So I think that's why it's so important to work on yourself. That's how this is how this is relating, because it might have been a little confusing for a second. But if you're working on yourself, then you have your core things that you can fall back on.
Yes.
You know, you have your own CNA script inside of you. You just got to fall back on, whether that's like spiritual, whether that's social, whether that's whatever, but it's like the core being of you. When you're lost and feel like I have nowhere else to go, you got to fall back on yourself, because you're the only person you can always and forever count on. And there's something inside of you, I promise, that if you just listen to that girl or boy inside your little self, then you'll be able to get through it. But you just got to get through it.
You have to.
You can do it.
You can do it. Oh my gosh. Your brain is so much more capable of things than you could ever imagine. And that's
so is your body.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Your body and your brain, which I guess your brain kind of is connected to your body too.
Yeah.
But it's everything. You, as a human being, if you do any sort of research about just like the human mind, or I listen to a lot of like weird podcasts where it talks about like people who do like crazy like stunts, or like people who like walk on tight ropes, like the mentality that you have to do that. And it is absolutely insane what you can convince your brain to do and what your brain can convince your body to do. And when you realize that Chelsea just shot an eraser at me by accident.
I controlled that with my mind.
I love that. Your brain's so powerful. Chelsea's turned into Matilda.
Okay, but I love that show for real.
I love that movie. It's my favorite.
Okay,
yeah.
anyways, because you were saying actually really good things.
No. Once you realize that all these other people, when you think about like these athletes, these huge CEOs of these huge companies, these multi-billionaires, at the root of them, they're just people. They're just humans.
They're going through it.
And they literally have the same brain as you. Sorry, like we all have the same brain. It's what we do with it and how we think about our situations and the mentality that we have in our situations. And like there's so many more dumb people out there doing the things that you want to do, and you're not doing them. And like sometimes you just have to realize that sometimes you just gotta do stuff and get through it.
I also
get on the other side.
think that in today's world we have so many influences from social media, and you see all these people doing all these crazy and amazing things. You know, who are we talking to? I can't remember what I was doing, but someone was saying like people will pay money to go on a private jet, not to fly, but to take pictures so they can put it on their social media. Like that's crazy to me. Like, let me paint this picture so you think I'm perfect.
That you think I have enough money to fly a private jet. Yeah, it's insane.
You know what I mean? So
yeah,
just because you're not doing all of those things doesn't mean that your life isn't anything special.
Oh my gosh, of course not. No.
That makes me like so sad to think about. But that's one of those things. It's like, well, what am I even doing? If I'm not doing that. I'm not on a freaking private jet.
Yeah, but like think about how much money that person, and they didn't even get to fly on it. Like that's sad.
It's so
I would be so angry.
I would not spend the money on that.
That's insanity.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But that's something that I've had to tell myself. The only way I can get out of this is just to get through it. Because there is always something on the other side. I'm a huge believer in karma. You know, what you put out, you get back. And if you can just get through it, for every bad, there's a good. For every bad I hope, there's at least 2 goods. Let's be real. You have to have the sick days to appreciate the healthy days.
Oh my gosh.
My mom told me that. And I was like...
That's so true, though. Because it's like whenever you are sick, your nose is stopped up, you're literally... The only thing you can think of is like... Do you remember what it was like last week to breathe? Like,
I remember,
you know?
There was this time when my family, we'd go do like a lot of outdoorsy things.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so thirsty. And I just remembered, man, remember that glass of water I didn't finish drinking and I just dumped it down the drain?
Mm-hmm.
What I wouldn't give for that water I dumped down the drain right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's so stupid, but you have to appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go through those things to appreciate it. And you have to go through those things to grow. Whether that's you individually or you as a relationship or business. Sometimes you have to go through crappy meetings so you can figure out how to get better.
Yep. Gotta make the mistakes to learn how to fix them.
But just because you messed up or made a mistake doesn't mean that you can't learn from that experience.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. You ain't gonna succeed unless you fail.
Oh my gosh.
I love that.
So powerful. But
cool. I think that's a nice little ending wrap up note.
yeah, your week is almost finished, people.
Yeah.
It's Thursday, unless you listen to this on another day, which is totally cool, much appreciated. But it's some day of the week, and you only have X amount of days left over. And if you're struggling right now, to go make those cold calls, to go have that awkward conversation with whoever, or it's if you have a meeting that you're like, I'm dreading, or it's not going the way that you're wanting, just get through it. Or if you've had something really crappy happen in your life, just know that tomorrow's going to come. And if you need to cry it out, cry it out. If you need to do whatever, just do it. But know tomorrow's going to come and you have a chance to grow and be better because of that.
Yes. I love it.
I love it too. There's always hope. There's always a tomorrow.
There's always hope and the sun always rises.
And there's always someone you're going to meet that's going to be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And change your life and make friends and podcasts and stuff. I'm talking about Lee. Oh, that's awesome.
Awesome. Well, thanks for listening today.
Yes.
That was a really wonderful conversation. I feel like full, you know?
Yeah.
Like my brain feels full, and so does my heart.
Just like happy.
100%. Awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in today. Make sure to tune in next week for another episode. So we're 16
We have
next
some
week,
big guests coming up.
We do, and we're so stoked about it.
Yeah, we have some really big guests.
We're excited.
But we just wanted you guys to like chat with us or listen to us chat about. Have some hope. Just get through it. If you're having a bad day today, tell yourself the only way out is through. And when something good happens, celebrate it. Whether you get a parking spot up front.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on a winning streak. Yeah. That's what I tell myself. And you can't stay mad if you're freaking weird. So, like, there's that too.
You can't stay mad if you're weird. Changing it right now. That's the title of the title of this pod. I love it.
You
can't stay mad if you're weird.
You can't.
I love it.
No. Do a little dance. Shake a little shake. Do your thing.
Great.
Just do it.
Just do it. Awesome.
And while you're doing it,
trying to end this 7 times.
I know, sorry, I just keep going. While you're doing it, if you can rate, review, subscribe.
Sure can.
Just if you do all that, that'd be great. I'd really like it.
Yeah, and follow us on Instagram at CJ&Sal Podcast. We promise we will not ask you to follow us back.
Yeah, we won't do that.